Hi guys, so we want to continue our series on Linux. Today we want to manage files permission in Linux. So I'll quickly let me delete some stuff I had here so that I won't contradict when we download our .pem file. Already I've started my labs, so you can come to details here, then you come to show. Okay, then you'll be able to download your .pem if you're on Linux and Git Bash. Other than that, you're on Party PPK. Then you copy this public IP you used to SSH into the instance that has been created for you by the Vocarian Labs. So let's wait in a bit. We should see our download. Yes, our download is in. So what we have to do is that we have to cd into our downloads folder if we have not. Yes, so this is our downloads. Okay, so yes, quickly let me just drag this here for easy access. Right, okay, so if you are not in your download, you should cd to your downloads when you open your terminal. I've done that. So the best thing is to ls and see all that I have and verify if indeed labsuser.pem is in my downloads. But there are quite a lot of things in my downloads and it's taking a yes, so you see it has pulled out, but to scroll and look for it is a lot. So I'll just clear and assume that it is there. Okay, right, yes, I'll assume that it is there. So we will want to change the permission of the user, so we'll do chmod. Okay, 400. Okay, so this 400 means the first one here, whatever we put in the first figure here, stands for the first slot. Okay, stands for users. Okay, and the second one stands for group, and then the third one stands for others, and then 4 stands for read. Okay, and then 2 stands for write, 4 stands for read, 2 stands for write, and 1 stands for executable. So right from here we are saying that the user, the first slot, has permission to read, the group user or the group leader or the group owner has permission to write, and then the others have executable permissions. Others could be probably bash scripts or some other hidden stuffs, services or processes. Okay, I guess so. That's just that. We'll go deeper into that later, but then we want to change the permission for the user who accesses this file to be only able to do what? View and not edit. Okay, so labsuser.pem, and then okay, so let's see how it was done. The download showed. Sometimes that could be the fault, but generally Vocarian Labs is having an issue. I don't know, it's been a while since they updated their system, so sometimes it's affecting what we are doing. So let's try again. So chmod 400 labs user.pem. This should work. Okay, so let's ssh -i labs user.pem ec2-user at, and then we'll paste. Okay, so I am not sure it picked it, so let's go back to details, and okay, it did pick. So, and press enter, and this should be able to push us into SSH into the EC2 terminal. Great, and we are in. So the first thing we want to do is that I want to do pwd and show where we are. So we are in the home-ec2. Let's ls and see what we have here. We have company here. So essentially the labs has created company here for us, and I believe there are a couple of things in it already. So when we ls, yes, we see that there are a lot of things in company here, right? Now the first thing we want to do is that we want to change ownership of this directory pwd. Let me do pwd again. I want to change ownership of this directory, okay, to M Jackson, who is the CEO, and to group personnel, right? So to do that, remember we are going to use sudo, right? Change ownership, and it has to be recursive, okay? And then we are changing ownership to which user? To M Jackson, okay? And to which group? Personnel group, right? Personnel, right? And then what are we changing the ownership to? Group, and then user Jackson, and then personnel. We want to change this directory, right? So we indicate the directory we want to change. So /home /ec2-user /company a, right? And when we press enter, this should work. So let's do ls-lar, right, and press enter and see. So shipping, shared, sales, management, new high, management, finance, employees, HR, document, CEO, let's see, okay, so it tells us that what's the name? M Jackson now owns the directory, right? So we have it here. So let's just clear our screen, Control L, and then the next thing we want to do is that we want to change ownership of the folder HR Finance to Finance Manager, who is M Major. So to do that, sudo change ownership, and it always has to be recursive. Change ownership recursive to M Major, and to which group? The finance group. What are we changing? We are changing the HR Finance folder, right? We are changing the HR Finance folder, and when we press enter, you can't access no such file directory. So let's try it again. If we got it right, sudo r M Major Finance HR Finance. Okay, I spelled finance wrongly, so let's try it again. So sudo change ownership -recursive M Major, and then finance, okay, the folder HR/finance, right? And this should work for us. Great. And then if we do ls dash LARHR/finance, okay, it tells us that you know, M Major, and by virtue M Jackson, who is the CEO, has permissions to these files, right? Great. Now what's next? The next thing is I want to change permission. So there's a concept of absolute and symbolic when it comes to modifying permissions of files. Okay, so we have the symbolic being using numbers. So U is for user, right? G is for group, and I think O is for others, right? So if you want to add permissions for a user, for any of them, okay, you can have user plus permission. You can have write, okay, you can have read, you can have X for execute, right? So that's just how it is. And so this is for symbolic, and then the absolute is what we did for the labs user chmod. So 4, we have 6, we have 4, 2 and 1, 4 being read, 2 being write, and 1 being executable. And I said the first one is for user, the second slot is for the group, and then the last one is for others, right? So I want us to just create a file. So let's vi cloud or vim cloud, okay, insert, type some stuff here, escape and escape, insert escape, and when we do wq, it should pull some error. Yes, so let's do w, insert escape, w, no, let's do quit, semicolon q exclamation. Now let's do sudo. Sudo will solve it for us. Sudo vi cloud, and this should work. Insert, we can type in some stuff here, escape, semicolon wq, and then we are out, right? So now I want to change the permission of this file, okay, using the symbolic. How do we do this? Sudo chmod modify permission, okay, and what do we I said we're using symbolic, right? So what do? We want to give the group right permission, so group plus w to what file? To the file cloud, right? And when we press enter, that works for you, okay. And we want to do same for absolute, right? Then we'll check and see if it worked or it didn't work, right? So let's just create another file, sudo vi or vim daemon. When we press enter, it opens. Insert to be able to type some stuff here, escape, then semicolon wq to save and quit, right? And want to change permissions, so sudo modify permissions, okay. And this time around we are using absolute, so the first person, which is the user, we are giving the user 7, meaning we are giving the user 4 plus what, 4 plus 2, which is read and write permission. And then we are giving the group 6, right? So meaning that we have given the group 4, I want to be sure, so if we give 7, 4 means right. When you add 2 to 4, 4, 5, 6 plus 1, 7. So when we put 7 here, we are giving the user read, write and execute permissions, right? And then when we put 6 here for the user, we are giving read, write without execute permission. And then put 4 for the others, we are giving the others just read permission, right? So daemon, please, I hope I'm making sense. Sudo change modification 764 daemon. When you press enter, that should work. Now let's do ls-al and see. So you see our cloud, great, is here, and then our daemon is here, okay, great, right? So read, write, execute, read, write, read. Okay, so for the first user we gave read, write, execute, second we gave read, write, last we gave read. Okay, and then for cloud we did g plus w, so we gave read, write, and read alone, right? No execute. So that's just by the way. What is left? The last thing is I want to assign permission. Okay, so let me clear my screen. Control L. So we want to assign, or want to change ownership of the shipping folder to Owusu, who is the current shipping manager, and the group ownership to the shipping, right? So sudo change ownership recursive, okay, to who? Owusu, who is currently the shipping manager, right, and to which group shipping, right. So what are we changing? We are changing everything. We are changing the permission of everything that is the shipping folder to Iowusu as a user, and then shipping as the group. When we press enter, this should be done. I want to do same for sales, and then the manager is nwolf, right. So let's do sudo change ownership recursive, okay, nwolf for ship for what, sales, right, for sales, right, sales, and from what group? The sales group. And when we press enter, this should work for us, right. And then we may want to validate our work, okay. So